I want to talk to y'all real quick, you know what I'm saying? Get personal and shit. Hard to play, family man. Hard to play. When you don't even know where the family stand. Too many egos, too many voices that ain't reaching out to people. I'm at 64. I mean real blood. Pops ain't home, but if he still was, minus the allegations. I wish I knew if it was really true or fabrication. Some of your kids think you did it, got me looking at you strange. Like would they be the same if they ain't grow with the pain? I mean 200 kids you couldn't find the time for. Do you regret not making time for us? Still screaming free you. Unanswered questions got me wanting to go see you. I'm sure you was dealing with pressure just trying to be you. Heard your own son ratted on you to them people. That's nasty. Even if you did it, the thought would've never passed me. That's if you asked me. Everybody out for self. Quicker to go to friends before I ask family for help. I'm tired of people asking me why Jacob don't help. I don't know. Damn. It feel like we drowning in quicksand. They throw more salt, I'm thinking they reaching for my hands. 500 acres, Egyptian theme on the land. Way too much power and to be a black man.
I'm talking to the Anunnaki. You feel me? I'm talking with Inky. Murdoch. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with Inky because I know who Inky is. I know who Inky's family is. I know who Inel is. And I know who Anu is. And I know when the Holy Tablets was coming, I know who was there and what it was talking to. Right. And then behind the face of Anu, there was a force that goes back further than that, 9 dimensions. But everything was not for the mortal ear at the time. Right. That's why in Christianity, they use the word faith. You know, or in Islam, they use the word mu'min or iman, faith. But when it comes down to with Nuwabian, you say, listen, Nuwabian, let me teach you about Anu and Inky. They want me to make God manifest for us so we will believe. That sounds very familiar, right? Yeah. They want everything. They don't want to put any trust in their leaders or their teachers. They want me to put everything on. Had I gave them everything the way it was coming to me, the devil would have long time, the reptilian shapeshifters would have long time.
Freedom Master Teacher.
I had to put out sporadic. I had to jump from place to place. I had to jump from name to name. I had to jump from religion. And in each one, every time I gave you a little something more. Right. About the whole big picture, which we now come down and put. Now you're going to start seeing the whole picture come together as one thing, and you're going to see everything from day one, from the day one, from the day.
So sitting next to you, or sitting behind you or front, so sitting next to you might be sitting next to Black Devil.
It states in Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim. I walked a long journey on the short path where after this mind expands math itself. Came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Not a preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. Nuwabu knocking off leeches. Peace to Malachi, Ziyor, Noble Jew Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Respect and pay homage from the Nuwabian tribe. We hope to see you. We still kicking the flows. All the girls know. Just list the show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. X out whoever was chosen by deception to sell out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half-stepping to a greater direction.
All right. Right Knowledge Radio. This is your host, Tutasha Mahedo Caillou, coming to you live from the headquarters in northern Arizona, about an hour south of Las Vegas. So let's play a little music in the background. I know I haven't been with you guys in a minute. Inshallah. Marhaban, ahla wa sahlan bika. Beacom, I should say. Look, today is their New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2024. And I would like to just excuse my absence because this Moorish man been grinding. So I'm trying to start a couple companies. One's a transportation company. I think I've mentioned that before, called Moon Logistics. So I've been out on the road, learning the game. I've been driving for going on 4 years now, on and off. And I need to put the show back on the road like I was doing before. So I'll be doing that starting in year 84, which is our year in Nuwabic time. So what do we have here? If you go to UNNM.net, you can see, you could always see what day it is. So it's year 84, the month of Aset. We got the third week, second day of Antum, Tashu Antum. So Yali Hamin, Yaomin Jamili. There's a lot of things I've been seeing on the road as I drive across Turtle Island with the colonizers calling America. And I watch some YouTube, actually a lot of YouTube when I'm driving, or I listen to an audiobook, or I'm practicing Arabic before we get into finalizing the Nuwabic language. So, na'am atakalumu alughati al-arabiyati. So I've been working hard on studying the Arabic because I know that's what the master teacher wants. Dhalika yuridu. So I just want to just chit chat with you guys for a while today about what's going on in my life and what I see going on in the world as a Nuwabian, born from the womb with intelligence. I want to talk about the so-called black family and the so-called black woman. It's getting really bad out there with black relationships. That's why stop the black crap and induct yourself as a Nuwabian Moor or more. Somebody with some type of culture, structure, something you could be proud of. You got a lot of videos. The youngsters, because I'm what they call 44. I don't know what I am in Nuwabian years. I'm probably a little older, huh? I've seen a lot of things, even people my age who have not matured to the next level. And I'm strictly talking about Moors, even if they don't know that they're Moors. And it's not Moors, it's Moors. There's 2 O's there, right? So, inshallah. Man, it's sad to see out here, man. It's very sad to see that it's over. The black family, it's over. Because once you don't have control of your youth, the youth doesn't respect you. It's over. And I know everything that appears on YouTube is not real. It's not real in the fact that I'm not seeing it in front of my eyes. But there's enough stories going around and enough other Moors, speaking on this. And the fact is that, some people don't want to be black anymore. Seen a lot of videos on that. They don't want to be black. And I don't blame them. Come join the club, be a Nuwabian. We have a culture, we have a language, we have a dress. It's being reconstituted in the image that the master teacher wanted it to be. However, it's bad out there. It's bad. And black people like to live in major cities. They want to wear the clothes, and they want to kill each other just to get an Instagram post and call each other niggers and just hate themselves. That's a big one too. Black people hate themselves. I love myself. I love myself, Nuwabian Moor. So don't bring that hate over here. A lot of the Sabians, they're a bunch of haters too. So that you can put them in the nigga club. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as I look at, as the world turns, as the earth turns, they say, some of these brothers can't afford a pot to piss in, and then I wanted to talk about the so-called black woman because I'm not going to sit up here and hate on the black woman. Lately I've been watching Kevin Samuels and Shahrazad Ali. And Shahrazad sounds very Iranian. It's not Arabic. Shahrazad. But anyway, the sister came out in the 80s and started talking about the black woman disrespecting the authority, which is supposed to be the black man, right? And I say supposed to be because it's not. Brothers really are not acting in a way, and they're not supporting the household. And the master teacher spoke about this, right, in the 80s. That's why we preserve the master teacher's words, because his voice, his I'll say divinity, his supreme understanding of things, not only ancient and old, but of present. And he said that, you know, he was using the term black back then. He said the black woman don't look at the black man as the boss because he doesn't have his own business. You know, when she goes to work, her boss is another man. I won't even say necessarily. More than likely, it's going to be a Caucasian man, but more than likely, it's going to be another man. So if you type into YouTube and you hear people cheating, you hear the wife cheating on the husband, and, you know, after like, it's cold-blooded too, maybe like 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you know, she's been cheating or she just started cheating. And it's usually with somebody that's not necessarily just over her, somebody that brings a spark to her life. You know, look, I used to be a player. I'm from Southern California. I used to be a player in LA County. You know, Too Short. You know, well, MC Bree came from Detroit. He learned the play a pimping game from California. Tupac learned to play a pimping game. E40. You know, shout to all the brothers out in the Bay. A man must know what a woman wants. It's not even just sex. It's a leadership, or somebody that she gonna look up to as a man. Someone's gonna show her the ropes. Now, hopefully, the brother is showing her the righteous ropes. You know what I mean? Like me, I'm not into pimping. I was just a player. So, but now I hung my jersey up in my mid-30s because I was an IT engineer. I was all about my career and all about going to the club, drinking, you know. And if I had a girlfriend, you know, I was cheating on her. I ain't gonna say no names because I don't want them to come back on me. So, you know, it's just what a woman wants is she wants a man. She wants a man to be a man. But the black woman got to understand it's kind of hard to be the man when she trying to be the man. You know, because she trying to take on some kind of white girl's ideology, which is crazy, right? It's crazy, but this is what happens when you have no culture. See, I could see it as light as day. As the sun shine and as the stars permeate at night, I could see it. And if you look back, black people have always been used for the Caucasoid agenda. Always. They've always been used. The gay movement used disco. Disco was a black music. It was basically sped up rock and roll, right? Disco is rock and roll. It's a subgenre, and they didn't have an identity for the gay people, so they used disco. They used black pain as political credit, right? Especially the Democratic Party. You guys already know this. I think a lot of Moors woke up this last election, be like, "Dang, the Democrats just think black people are stupid." You got Kamala Harris up there with Sexy Red. I didn't even know who Sexy Red was because, you know, I'm out of that stuff. I don't deal with Satan. Only when I battle head up with the black devils or the Caucasoid devils. That's the only time I really see him. Otherwise than that, I'm tucked away. I live in peace. You know, I'm not like the dude on the other channel. What's his name? Amun Numa. He likes drama. He's a drama queen. Nah, bro. I get away from all that. I get away. That's why I'm able to see clear and do my thing out here. But anyway, enough about me. the black family, the so-called black family, the Moorish family, is in trouble, massive trouble. The youngsters, you might as well count that generation out. There might be a couple of Moors of that generation that should lead the United Nuwabian Nation of Moors, to tell you the truth. And I'm trying to get to them. So next year we're going on an initiative, and as things develop, I'll let you guys know about it. But this is away from Patricia Lewis. It ain't got nothing to do with no Sabianism. This is strictly United Nuwabian Nation of Moors, as it should be from the beginning, and it shall be in the end. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, the next thing to talk about on the agenda would be where are the Moorish businesses? Where you guys at? I'm talking to the Noble Drew Ali followers also, because we're Moors, right? Where you guys at? Now, there was a brother last year who started up a brewery, I think in Illinois. They called it the Moorish Brewery or something like that. Congratulations, my brother, for doing your thing. That's the only people I talk to, is people doing their thing. If you're not doing your thing, as far as studying, teaching, running businesses, something I could respect, I don't talk to you. Those days are long gone. If you're my age and you ain't got a pot to piss in, you got no dollars to your name, you don't have no property, no assets, you can't do nothing for your mama, your daddy, you're just a useless piece of flesh, step right off to the left. Step right off. I won't even talk to you. Because I didn't talk to so many of y'all. I'm talking people 60, 70 something years old. I could see why you take Dr. York stuff. Even his own family. Y'all not doing nothing. You're just pariahs. You're just, you're weaver walkers trying to get people caught up in the web, man. You know what I mean? You know, get your rhyme craft up. Get your rhyme craft up. Rhyme craft means math and English. Get your rhyme craft up, man. Get that right. Get that right. You know, it's sound right reasoning. Ain't it? It's sound right reasoning, not dumb right reasoning. You can go to the Sabians for that. So, another thing, another stipulation I have is if you weren't raised by your father, I'm not going to talk to you either. There's too many 80% of black children are born out of wedlock now. So that's how good it is to be black. And I guess black lives does not matter. I guess it doesn't matter. You know, because of the way they treat themselves. I'm saying they, because it ain't me, right? That's the way they treat themselves. You know, I came from a family, my father's side of the family, originally from Mansfield, Louisiana, or my grandfather was from Mansfield, Louisiana, and they moved to LA in the late 50s. I think right in 1960, my grandfather, who was in World War II, and he, he had a pension for all of his life, and he moved to Compton in 60, I believe, I think. And so my grandfather was a very stern man who believed in structure, believed in the church, that saved my family because it started getting wild in Compton in, the late 70s, 80s, and what it is now. It wasn't always like that in Compton. And when I go to Compton, people think about Eazy-E and things like that. And I met Eazy-E when I was about 7 years old at the Compton swap meet. Liked him. But I knew my reality. I lived in the suburbs. My dad got a good job. We moved out to Walnut, California in 1982. And I'll go back every summer, to visit my grandparents in Compton, right off Stockwell and Anzac. So I think the Bloods overran it now. So it's a Blood neighborhood, but the Tortilla Flats is over there too. The Mexican homies. But look, my grandfather was a stern man, a man who operated in structure, started a church in Watts, was the deacon, a highly respected general, and he was also a Mason. So my dad tried to follow in his footsteps, couldn't quite keep up, but my dad knew how to make money, and so that's how we moved out of I think it was Inglewood when he met my mom, Inglewood, and then we moved to Walnut, which is like 25 miles. I always get this east. I haven't been around in a long time, but it's east of Los Angeles. And that's the way I operate. Try to emulate my grandfather as best as I can. However, there was only one Marion Smith. There's only one Tutashi Maherdakayu. So, though we take from our forefathers, we gotta do it in our own way, and hopefully that's in a cultural way that lines up with everybody else in your tribe. This is the problem with so-called black people. They don't have nothing to emulate, and if it is something to emulate, it's usually something negative because you don't control the narrative. You let the Caucasian control the narrative. So the hip-hop music was started in the Bronx, New York, in the late 60s. And, Sylvia Robinson. There's another brother named Robinson, too, who signed a couple groups out of New York. Like Melly Mel and Keith Cowboy and all them dudes, man. We know them well in California, man. We just, in some parts in California, we just as New York is New York. You know what I mean? But it ain't New York. So we remember all that stuff, man. And, it was traditional hip hop. It was traditional, the rhymes, the beats, until, and black people have a problem with selling out. I've noticed that too. Black people sell out, especially so-called gangsters, so-called this. The real gangsters is like Rick Ross. Out of South Central, Rick Ross. He ain't never snitched on nobody. But Nicky Barnes snitch. Frank Lucas snitch. And majority of brothers gonna snitch. I would advise people watch YouTube. It's a YouTube channel called Fresh Out. These brothers is fresh out of prison. Now the brother, his name is Big Herc 916, which is Northern California, and they got prison stories up the yin yang, right? But the thing is, the brother preaches positively, universal energy, something that Nuwabians are very familiar with. And I like watching his show because he talks about black people and he's a Moor himself, and he talks about Moors in prison, so-called black people, and he says that when he was in there, just keeping his head down, trying to fight his case, going in the law library, dealing with different races of people, because it's very racist in the state of California, the prisons. He was in a U.S. federal prison, Lompoc. I think he might have moved around, but he talks about Lompoc a lot. And I would actually like to have him on the show. The brother's amazing, man. Spent 10 years in the joint, learned about laws. Same thing that we talk about sometimes. So I don't talk about as much as I used to when I was fighting my child support case and whoop their ass. That you got to read the law, man. You got to learn how to put it in motion. You got to learn about procedures, court procedures, because they mess up on court procedures all the time, bro. All the time, my brother. My Moorish brothers and sisters. We got to wake up, But luckily, I didn't have to go to prison to learn all that stuff. I learned it when I'm free, when I can move around and do what I want, think what I want, and be around who I want, invest in what I want, work where I want, make love to the women that I wanted, Look, guidance is needed in the Moorish community. It's needed. I'm out here amongst the lost. You know what I mean? I keep myself cozy, so to speak, but I am out here amongst the lost. And I'm really thinking to intervene a lot more than what I have as the Afar, and just as a human being, with the Moorish peoples, as a race of people, because I can't get to every single tribe, but it's just getting bad, man. Black people, are known for hating each other. It's known because if you look at it even from a street level, like a gang level, you got your Puerto Ricans, you got blacks, you got Mexicans, you got such and such, you know. However, when you hear them talk crap to each other, taunting, one gang would taunt the other one, you know. Um, Usually, if there's an internal beef or beef between two gangs of the same tribe, the same race, you don't hear them throw racial terms out hating each other. Because if you hate on them, you hating on yourself, right? Black people are the only people who really yell like racial terms, like I hate that nigga, kill that nigga. Well, you are that nigga, right? You are that nigga. So you're killing yourself. Now I can see if you just, hey, I hate that gang, this gang, blah 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 blah. Then there's not so much of a racial connotation to what you're speaking to another gang. But when you start throwing out hate speech toward people of your own genetic family. Well, I won't say genetic family because that's kind of like talking about race, but you know what I'm talking about. And when you in here in America, you know what I mean? And you're calling yourself the N word all the time. You really got to step back and be like, dang, do we hate each other? Do I hate myself when I look in that mirror? And I think they do. I think so-called black people like hate each other. And it's very sickening. It's a very sickening disease. And Dr. York talked about this. It's called the spell of Leviathan. It's the spell of self-hatred. He talks about it in the Isles of Patmos. I forgot what part, but we have it on our YouTube, United Nuwabian Nation of Moors channel. And it's not very good. It's not very good. And that's why I have to back away from a lot of so-called blacks. The hate is very profound. Even on Facebook, when we started, as the Holy Tabernacle Ministries started reprinting the tablets, and there's more books to come. There's a lot more books to come for the haters. A lot more. So I just started to back off of Facebook. I just do my thing off of social media. Sometimes I will come out if I got business, I'll promote something. But besides that, there's a lot of Negroes, especially the Sabians, that they're not even really men. I would just say they're not. They're just sitting back and hating on anybody doing anything. Yeah. Now the thing they love to say is, "Oh, did you get permission to do that?" Permission to do that from who? Patricia Lewis, who stole all of Dr. York's properties? I'm supposed to respect this woman? That's funny. That will never happen. Not over here. Not over here. We're sovereign over ourselves over here. We don't need no permission to do nothing from no Sabian. Who doesn't even speak Sabbatic. Sabbatic is an ancient language of Southern Arabia, and I have the dictionary. And all the words that you're coming up with ain't got no link back to the Sabians at all. At all. They just made it up. At least Nuwabians, the name came from a town in Sudan. So we could always link ourselves back. And we don't, in our culture, we didn't take exactly from the Sudanese, right? It was recreated for us over here as indigenous people from Turtle Islands, indigenous folks from Turtle Island, so they've even messed up their own history because it was all started off a fraud and just to make money. The whole tribe. So the whole tribe is kind of fake. It's kind of fake to me. I don't really take it serious. It's like a tick. It's like a flea on your nuts, right? You just kind of just flick it off. I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Now, we had a couple people call the nation and ask what's going on with Dr. Yerk's case. There's a couple people I guess have talked with. I think it's Ish, one of Dr. Yerk's sons that's talking to him now. Which he's a felon, and he gonna need a lot of help. He got a lot of ego, but he's gonna need a lot of help from, I guess, his sister Uma York. Who was the brother? Oh, the brother Instadine, the music I played at the beginning. There's a lot of ego there. A lot of ego, a lot of street stuff. That I hear from, and I've heard other people have talked with the brother also. He's not calling people back, not keeping people informed so they can support the master teacher. He ain't called me back either. So for all those that call, I don't have any more information than you do. Inshallah. So we're all left in the dark, but the nation is going to move on. For those interested, you could always call the number on the website. Actually, the number on the website is not, I don't like that company. A couple of the brothers, we don't like that company. It's not a very good phone service. So you can call 909 area code 780-3159. Again, that's 909-780-3159. And then you can inquire about the nation. Ask questions. Now, there is a lot of weird brothers out there. I've been VP in the Afar now, going back to 2017. And the calls weren't so weird then, but I think a lot of people are trying to hide in the shadows, and they've learned to operate like that because they're doing something wrong. They're doing something wrong. They got some type of scheme going on, and they're sending weird little emails and stuff like that. Which now we could just block the stuff. I mean, it's just one click of the button, so it really doesn't affect anything. But I do notice there's a lot of weird blacks now. It's like they're turning into Caucasians. I'm like, damn, brother, where's the soul at? Where's your Frankie Beverly May? Where's your Teddy Pendergrass at? Where's your Dr. York at? What happened to the soul, brother? Come on, Moor, what happened to the soul? What happened to the smoothness, the suaveness? You ain't got none of that now. You just a weird little nigga, I guess. You weird little niggas. That's what it's. You're weird. And if you look at the hip hop stuff, it looks like it's some Satanism stuff now. It doesn't look like Nas or AZ or Eazy-E or Run DMC, where cats is having fun. You let these cockers always take control of it and inject some kind of faggot stuff. Wearing tight jeans, sagging. Then the dude on Fresh Out talked about sagging. He's on nigga, you go in there sagging. Somebody gonna take them butt cheeks. Guaranteed somebody take them butt cheeks. You go in prison sagging. Guarantee somebody, you wearing them tight little clothes, they gonna take them butt cheeks. They gonna run a train on you, homie. So I don't know where all that came from, going into hip hop, but it's just y'all weird, man. Y'all weird. And I'm talking about people around my age too. Early 40s and going down into high school. Just weirdos. I guess black people have turned into some type of weirdo. It's kind of sad to see, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, this weirdo crap. I didn't grow up with brothers like that. I didn't grow up with people like that. That's crazy to me. But when you let somebody take control of the narrative and steer it where they want it, where it makes you look bad, You know, and it's great for the prison corporations too, because now you got it cool to join a gang and kill somebody or commit crimes. So it's like an endless pipeline going into prison. So if people are looking for something to invest in, like Michael Jordan invested in prisons because he said these niggas, that's where they want to go. Apparently, that's where they want to go. You know, and then when they get to prison, they meet a brother who woke up in prison. Now they wake up, but it's for some of them, it's too late. You know, some of them it's too late. Um, you know, I remember AZ saying he said most men become gods in prison, but the gods don't go to prison unless it's some political freedom stuff. But the gods, he would have it mistaken. The gods don't go to prison. Period. Like I said, there's an exception if the devil wants to put them in there. Though they've done nothing wrong, they've been set up, you know, things like that by the FBI, the CIA, how they did Tupac. You know, those two cops that shot Tupac and that tried to shoot at Tupac were undercover cops. They were off-duty cops hired by the CIA to kill Tupac because Tupac had the blood of a panther in him. You know what I'm saying? And that story gets deep. That story gets deep. But I think I've shared that before on this channel about brother Tupac's journey. He said they punish and people asking questions, be thankful for blessings. They punish and people asking questions. And you know, Nuwabians love to ask questions. You know what I mean? So we gotta unfortunately, we're gonna have to let these niggas die off. There ain't no changing them. They're gonna be evil to the end. There's no changing these niggas, these blacks, these so-called black people. You know, Puff. You know, he's an evil person. You know, and Cassie, well, she gave up the cheeks to build her fame. I don't feel sorry for the girl. She knew what she was doing. You with this crazy dude. He's rich, but you can't take it with you when you die. You know. And I heard Jay-Z's name has been implicated in these charges. Well, in some other case, his name, and Foxy Brown talked about Jay-Z being a pedophile. So I don't know if that's true, but we know about Puff. We know that's true. Yeah, Puff going down. It was crazy. I used to like Puff, but there's no way I could like Puff now. I still like R. Kelly's music. R. Kelly's stuff was banging, but you know, R. Kelly was abused when he was younger. He was molested, so you can kind of feel for R. Kelly, but you know what he did to them girls, they didn't deserve that. So no, we can't support that as Nuwabians. But and then you get it. That kind of relates to Dr. York's case and Deuce York. He was there molesting girls with R. Kelly, and he was molesting people on the land, and then they turn around and blame it on Dr. York with the FBI's help. You know, so Dr. York never had a chance at justice, and we hoping that his offspring can get him out. You know, we really urge his offspring to focus, like their father was able to focus, because as he goes, you go. See, we're all linked, and the blood is linked. So all the Yorks, if he go, you go. You can try to change your name and all that. Somebody gonna trace it back. This is the age of information. So you might as well fight. You might as well get your family resource, and you might as well fight to clear your father's name, Amadou Birakta, Malachi Z. York, and stop doing what you're doing and focus and help. But I see a lot of them want to make music and be in the street, and then, you know, even Insadine in the song, do you regret not spending time with us? I'm pretty sure the master teacher does not regret not spending time with you. He came to do what he had to do on this planet, man. And you'll realize, if you ever get to that point of your purpose and mission, that you came to the planet to do certain things, then you'll understand your father's plight. But until you reach that point, you know, the most I've seen them do is, you know, get a job or start a little business, which is cool. I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that. I think we should all get businesses, but you're under special circumstances. You have your father's in prison, and you got family members who put him in prison. You know, what's that dude's name? Evans. Evans. He was one of the teachers. I cannot remember his name right now. He's in South Carolina too. Evans. Man, I can't forget. I can't remember his name. However, he stole property from Dr. York. Also, his wife was a realtor, and Uma York got the paper where Anthony Bunn Evans, that's his name. Him and his wife stole property from the master teacher. They all did it, man. They all did it, you know, unfortunately. And, you know, these people need to pay the price in this life or the next, but they must pay the price. So we're putting that energy out to let the Netaru bring them down to the Duat. They need to be brought down to the Duat. So what else could I say here? Because I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Like I said, we've been building up a Moon Logistics. Hopefully within a year or two, we have this contract that we're looking at. I'm not going to say nothing about it now, but looking to purchasing more assets and having more employees, or having a employee. So there it is. And I know I'm just talking in a stream of consciousness because I don't have a plan set up. I do want to finish reading the 9 Ball. Looks like we stopped at part 10 of the 9 Ball reading. And that's such an important book because it just lays the foundation for Nuwabu, right? On a very basic level. You don't have to be an AEO, a high priest in AEO to understand this. So, you know, at the end of the day, Black people need to start going to like therapy. I heard Shahrazad Ali, love this sister, man. I used to see some of her videos, like thumbnails back in the day, but I never really watched the videos within the last probably 4 months. I've been watching her videos, and she's made a great effort into getting the so-called Black family back together, the Moorish family. But it seems like the pendulum is swinging so hard in favor of Satanism for Blacks that it's pretty much over. Because without a culture, you have nothing to cling on to. What you gonna cling on to? Slavery? Oh, I didn't know slavery had a language. That slavery had a certain dress. That slavery came from a certain nation. You know, slavery doesn't provide that. So you're lost. You're lost. You started celebrating another slave. How was it, Juneteenth? I just laugh at him like, these niggas is celebrating another slave bullshit. I'm like, okay, well. And this is why I'm not Black. You know, people are like, oh, you just don't want to be Black. Yes, you're absolutely right. I don't want to be Black. You know, it doesn't make sense for me to be something that I'm not. Yeah, why be something that I'm not, y'all? And I've always asked Black people within the past 5 years, I'm like, what is it? Describe to me what it feels to be Black. Can you describe this for me? Oh, you know, the liberation. The liberation from what? From the white man. Okay, from the white man. Okay, and what actions and steps and procedures are you taking to rectify the issue? Oh, you know, F them, man. No. I said, what steps or what process are you going through to rectify the issue? And it's nothing. It's this crybabyism. Now, my grandfather raised us, hey, we don't care what color you are. If you're good at something and you have a trade that somebody's willing to pay good money for, what they got to do with a white man, black man, Chinese? What they got to do with anything? So what they programmed the Negro to always blame the failures of their life on racism and slavery. Now, every race on the planet has been enslaved, but peep this. Black people think they're the only ones that have ever been enslaved. Ain't that a trip? Listen to me now. Follow me now. Black people think they're the only people to have ever been enslaved. And you want to know why? You want to know why? I will refer to Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. He said, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Black people don't have no knowledge of self. And if you believe in Tamaray, not believe in Tamaray, follow the high priest and the words and their passages, it says, know thyself. Right? Know thyself. And that is lacking in the so-called black community. There's no leadership, there's no nothing now. Now, black people have been left to the dogs. And when I say left to the dogs, if you look at Chicago, LA too, they let so many immigrants in to start pushing black people out. Ask the people in Chicago. Now they have to deal with an El Salvadorian gang moving into Southside Chicago, y'all. And the government's giving the gangbangers money. Now, if you had a culture and some type of pathway to your thinking and how you exist, you wouldn't have that problem, right? Because you would vote people in who are Nuwabians or are whatever tribe, and they're gonna look out for their people before they look out for everybody else. And the mayor of Chicago is a Negro. But since, like I talked about before, there's so many sellout Negroes, they take the black vote as a joke, because it is a joke. It's a 14th Amendment joke, right? You guys are jokes. So the niggas who sold you out, who want to be part of the Caucasian democratic structure, look at you as if you're inferior, even though they're the same race and tribe that you are and grew up in the same town that you did, Chicago. So I think the problem is insurmountable. Just become a Nuwabian, man. 909-780-3159. Let's build. Let's build. Gotta be educated though, because we don't want niggas coming into the nation. We see what niggas do. We see exactly what niggas do. We don't want niggerdom in the nation. Sorry guys, we don't want niggerdom here. We see what that does. It has so-called black women getting married at a 20% rate. 80% of black children are born out of wedlock. So we all know where that leads to. It leads right to the prison pipeline. Right to the prison pipeline. So, and you really can't blame the U.S. government. Yeah, the U.S. government wants to entrap and ensnare black people as slaves forever. I mean, that's just what it is. They want to entrap the Mexican forever. You know, and any other immigrant that comes here with no resources, right? You have nothing on the table, so you can't negotiate nothing. All you can negotiate is your labor, and you really can't negotiate that. Whatever the market price is, that's what they're gonna pay you for somebody of your intelligence level and your skill. And even if you do have those skills, you're not a citizen, so they can. It's not all bad though, because if you have a plan to save and build, you'll be okay. And you make sacrifices, you'll be okay. But the black Negro or colored person or whatever, I don't know what the hell they call themselves. Inshallah, it's very confusing. Very confusing with niggas, or I don't even know what to call y'all. Holla at me. What do I call y'all? Black, African American, I don't know. What should I call you? 14th Amendment citizen. I don't know. What should I call you? I'd rather call you a Moor. But some may not like. I haven't heard anybody say, "Oh, don't call me that." I haven't heard anybody say that yet. So that hasn't gotten that to that ignorant level with the so-called Negro. But there's just a lot of stuff happening, man, out here, and it's we got to put the al-Sawur. Got to put up the al-Sawur, the wall, al-Sawuri, the walls. We got to put them up because. Another thing I wanted to speak to y'all about before I head out. Fraud is rampant amongst the black community now. Online, offline. Niggas is pulling fraud. Fraud is going down because it's promoted within the music and on the Instagram with the influencers and things like that. It's just parents really need to protect their children what they watch. You need to be more disciplined. You need restrictions, but women do not. That's not a woman's job to discipline children. That's a man's job. But if the man ain't there, guess who's gonna discipline your kids? Them police, the judge, the dudes in prison. They gonna get disciplined somewhere. My daddy always said, "Boy, if I don't tell you, society gonna tell you." And they not gonna be as nice as I am right now. So it gotta come from the house. It gotta come from the house. Ahlul Bayt. It's gotta come from the household members, man. Ifradat. So and that just means members in Arabic. But however, walakina. It's gotta come from the aqab, right? It's gotta come from your heart. We're raising children as if they don't matter. Yeah, you're raising children like they don't matter. And this is another flaw, you know what I mean? In the way that Americans are thinking. It's all based on corporatism. That's American culture, is really corporatism. Because it's funny, everything you see on TV, people try to emulate. So it's like life imitating the craft, right? Instead of craft imitating life, life imitates the craft. So it's no joke out here. There are so many traps that if you're not really educated up on things and you're around the wrong people, I'm sorry, man, you probably gonna go down in the flames. Because everybody doesn't really use their mind now. Now I know it's supposed to be the air sign now, but the devil pushing back so hard on the space, matter, and time circle, it's being held up. The devil's rules being held up, and it's only because we're not operating in nature, right? We're not trained. We haven't learned the appropriate forthgoing. Forthgoing is a process. It's English for process. Process is a corrupted Latin word. So we haven't gone through the proper forthgoing to prepare ourselves as men. I'm talking to the men now. As men, to really take over. The black woman doesn't look up to the black man as the leader. That's why they're probably not getting married. Or the men just don't know how to be men and take care of women. I think it's a lot of both. But the black woman has been talking a lot of crap about black men. For instance, if you hear Kevin Samuels say he'll ask a woman a question, and these women are really not. It's amazing to see how unconscious black women are. It's actually pretty fascinating to see. I think the term is self-awareness. You got women who are like 300 pounds, like Well, I won't go. Some of them are 300 pounds. Most of them are like 200, 160, and they're like 5'2", right? So they're obese. They're obese black women, right? And they talking about they want a high value man. I'm like, I'm like, in what universe are you living in? And then you'll have black women come up saying, "Oh yeah, I see that. I see those couples all the time. A fat, little pudgy, buffalo-looking black woman with a fit black man who's making $1 million a year. Where? I've never seen that. You better stop listening to that feminism stuff. That's crazy. And then you got women that are older that have children in their 40s, and they want a high value man want a younger woman. He want to start a good. I'm talking about a good man who's dignified. I'm not talking about a street thug selling drugs. No. We're talking about really high value man with morals and dignity. We're not talking about young thug or puff. Yeah, we're not talking about those people. Those people are satanic demons. So, a good man want to start a family with a good woman, right? You don't care if you got massive education. Well, that's cool. That's supplemental, but it's definitely not the main thing that we look for as far as a wife. Now, me, my wife is Thai. I grew up in a multicultural neighborhood in Walnut, California. My babysitter was Filipino. Her name was Penn by Walnut Elementary. Anybody from Walnut, you know what I'm talking about. That was around 82. And for me to learn how to swim, Penn used to just throw me in the pool. And I learned how to swim. You either go swim or you're going to drown. I almost drowned too when I was about 6, but that was at the YMCA in Pomona. So I actually learned a lot from other cultures on what culture was. There were a couple of black people that lived in Walnut, and peace to all the homies from Walnut. But none of them brought me culture. I remember the brother Quincy was really into hip hop. He put us onto the roots. I was back in like 94, freshman year. So, peace to Quincy if you listen to this. Now, he's supposed to be the most Afrocentric brother. Came to find out he married some white girl, heavy set white girl. I'm like, how did that happen? Is it because he couldn't find love with a black woman? I don't know. Because he was very Afrocentric back in the day at Walnut. So, peace to the brother Quincy, man. Got a lot of love for you. Hopefully you're alive and doing well. So, going back to Walnut, really, Walnut is a great place to live and raise your children. Great place. We got Walnut. I'm gonna name all the towns around Walnut. We got Walnut, our rival town, Diamond Bar, who's always better than us in every sport. Always beat us. But that kind of goes back to the gerrymandering, the creation of Diamond Bar from Walnut. I think that goes back to like the 60s. So we're rivals, you know what I mean? But a lot of homies went to Diamond Bar. Kelly Slay, peace to Kelly Slay. Hopefully he's all right. I know he was, well, I'm not going to say nothing. But Coach Slay's dad, this dude's like a professional scout. Like we were like in first grade, man. Coach Slay, got a lot of respect for Coach Slay. Played a year of football with him and Kelly. I think when I was like in the 4th or 5th grade. Oh, and peace to, they'll probably never hear this podcast, but peace to Breon Ansley, man. This brother was like, oh man, what was he like? This is like 4th or 5th grade. Breon Ansley, man, was breaking for touchdowns. Dude had big calves. The dude was just built like a little Barry Sanders, man. This dude was quick. And I never heard his name in the league or nothing. But anyway, let me keep this story moving. We got Hacienda Heights. We got what's west of Walnut or north of Walnut? There's Azusa. Azusa's deep with the SA homies. Then we got Pomona, P-Town. P-Town's probably the most famous town around the area, but I don't like a lot of brothers from Pomona. They're kind of weird. They're like losers. They're like losers. You know, and then you got Hacienda Heights. So that part of Southern California right there is on and popping. And West Covina is like my favorite town. I had a lot of friends from West Covina. That's where I got my player game up in West Covina. So, you know, so anyway, I like talking about my past. It was good. You know, there's always ups and downs, but it was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. So multicultural, you know, hung around a lot of Filipinos, a lot of my neighbors, Filipinos. I ain't gonna say no names, but had a Taiwanese neighbor, Chinese, a couple Chinese neighbors, and all in the late 80s and 90s, the Chinese people came rushing into Southern California, just by the droves, which, I mean, it is what it is, right? And I remember talking to a woman from my work years later, probably like 2012. I ain't gonna say her name, but she made a pretty prejudiced statement against Asians because a lot of Asians moved into Rolling Heights. Dude, Rolling Heights is like all Korean and Chinese, and some woman who moved from Chicago, like I guess like in the early 80s, late 70s, and she grew up where she lived in Rolling Heights, and she's like, yeah, it used to be a nice town. I'm like, what you mean it used to be? It's still a nice town. You know, I'm thinking, what do you mean it used to be? It's still a nice town. Now, she's Caucasian. She was from Illinois, Chicago. And, you know, that's a pretty prejudice. It's a prejudice statement. It's not a hateful statement. You know, Dr. Yerk said there's a difference between race and hate. You know, it's not a hateful statement to say, you know, these Asians moved in here and it used to be a nice town. Well, she felt comfortable with her own kind, like everybody does. Everybody feels comfortable with their own kind. It's only natural to cling to your own kind, especially if you're a foreigner. You're gonna want to have the familiarness or the comfortability with people of your own kind. You know, so there's nothing wrong with that. But to say it used to be a nice town, Rolling Heights is still a nice town. It still takes a lot of money to live in Rolling Heights. So, yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend. She was Filipino. She went to Rolling Heights. I ain't gonna say no names though. So, growing up multicultural, you know, when I go over to my Taiwanese friend's house, you know, you take off your shoes, you bow. You know, they taught me that, and you just seen the wife play her part. You saw the man play his part. You saw the different types of dress, how they handle their business, how they celebrate, you know, like Chinese New Year and things like that. And at the time, I noticed the difference. I embraced it, but I didn't really put too much stock into it. But now when I'm older and I look back, I thank God for those experiences. That's what made me a better Nuwabian. You know, the language, the dress, this is everything the master teacher gave us. And, you know, I thank the heavens. I thank the heavens for Amanu Birakta. I thank the heavens. I thank the heavens, man. I can't say it enough. So I think we'll end it right here. I'll be broadcasting, uploading from the truck from now on, you know, until I'm home now for a couple days. So I just want to say peace to the world, because the world needs a lot of healing. But we can't save the world as Nuwabians, but we need to save each other. We need to save each other, and there's other warners and prophets and foresayers and not soothsayers, but foretellers that need to save their people in this day and time, because the mixture of human beings cannot handle technology. The computer, it's destroying people. It's really destroying people. And you could tell to the children, because the children, the offspring, they just absorb it all. You know, and the parents ain't there to really limit their TV time or their video game time, like my parents did. You know, I was playing You know, NBA Live too much. My dad said, cut that off. You're going to do something, go play basketball outside, you know. But we grew up where we played baseball, basketball outside. We went to the park, you know, and then on our downtime, we would play some video games, you know, right? You know, invite your friends over, play games. Your mom may cook a little something for, you know, normal stuff that people don't even really do now, unless you're like rich. You have to be like rich to do things like this, you know. So, sorry, that was my girl texting me. But this is very important. Things are happening. People are being affected negatively for the most, and jobs are starting to dry up because there's no more cheap money, right, being issued by the Federal Reserve, except for the continuation of government debt and wars and things like that. So I would advise Nuwabians learn how to invest into land, stocks that pay dividends, gold, silver, into your own companies and businesses, farming, water irrigation, all these things that make life what it is. I mean, really, you can live without the computer, but you can't live if you don't know how to fix your own food. And if what happened if the corporations say, hey, to get a piece of chicken, we charging $1,000. You want a piece of that nice juicy chicken, nigga? You got to pay 1,000. You don't have 1,000. You're broke. What you gonna do? You don't even own any chickens to slaughter to cook your own food. You know, or if you're a vegetarian, you don't have a field to plant any crops. Right? So that's what we've done here in Arizona. We got land. We got 10 acres. Right? And it's really a canvas to do what we need to do, our foundation. And we're not trying to go head up with the US government. You know, that's not really the plan. The plan is to just have a place we can call our own and to live within the law, unless the law is racist. Like they used to have laws like you couldn't call yourself an Indian under the black codes of South Carolina and other states, right? It was illegal just to be you. Well, we can't follow that damn law. We're gonna fight that one. We can't follow that damn law. We don't like that one. And we didn't create it, the devil did. You know. So I'm gonna sign off, but I just wanted y'all to think about a couple things. I haven't really had a talk with you guys in a while. So this is the Afar Tutashu Mahidakayu. And I leave you in peace. Wadu.